Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Sheeran is ready to play some games. Hello everyone, and welcome to Giganato Gaming. I hope you enjoy the video. So guys, in today's video, we are back in Jurassic World Evolution 3, where I'm going to be building another sanctuary island. But this time, it's the Spinwheel edition again, which means I rely on a spinwheel to determine which species will be put into the island. I'm going to be putting in 6 species in today's episode, 3 on each side. We're going to have 2 sides, an east side and a west side, or north side and west side, depending on how you look at it. And we are going to see how they get on. We're going to fill up their needs and see how they get on in the ecosystem. Now, we got 83 species to choose from, including the 7 hybrids. Now, so the 4 hybrids, including Spinoceratops, Stegoceratops, Ankylodocus, and Spinoraptor, if we land on any of them, they will be safely put into the sanctuary. But if we land on Indominus Rex, Indoraptor, or Scorpius Rex at any point in this series, the series will end. So if we get any of those 3 hybrids in this episode, the video will end. No outro or anything, it'll just end. So, yeah, if you find yourself enjoying this video and want more content like this, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe for more. It would really help out a ton. Let's see if we could get this channel to 2,000 subscribers. That would be super amazing. But with that, let's begin the video. Let me change the island a bit, see if I can get one a little more. You know what? We'll go with that one. Alright, this'll do for now. I'll, of course, add vegetation and mountains and maybe waterfalls as time goes on. But anyway, let's get the hatcheries going. But first, we're going to need arrival points. Let's get our first arrival point here. And we'll get a hatchery over here. And we should be good to go. There we go. Alright, that should be good. Now let's go into additional bays, accelerated growth. And then I will do the same thing for the other side. We're going to call this, we'll call this East Hatchery. We'll call this East Hatchery for now. And then we can duplicate this and then put this on the other side of the island and call this West Hatchery. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing in today's episode. I will add a couple more hatcheries for North and South as time goes on, like in the next episode or so. But yeah, without further ado, let's release our first 6 species. Alright, so here we've got our 83 species, including the 7 hybrids. We're going to release 6 species in today's episode, 3 in each side, and we're going to see how they get on. Now, like I said, the other 4 hybrids like Spinoceratops, Stegoceratops, Ankylodocus, and Spinoraptor, if the wheel lands on those, that's fine. But if it lands on Indominus Rex, Indoraptor, or Scorpius Rex at any point in this series, the series ends. Alright, what is our first species going to be? Chasmosaurus, okay, good start, good start. Alright, so should we just release them all at once, or should we do just one at a time? You know, we'll do one at a time. We'll start with the East Hatchery, because that was the first one we put down. So Chasmosaurus will go in the east part. And for batches that only have just the 1, I'm going to put 2 in. So there's going to be at least 2 of the species that's selected. A male and a female at least. Alright, so we got 5. So for here, let's get 2 males and 2 females. Alright, 2 males and 3 females. Let's see which males are the most vibrant. Alright, so that's our first species taken care of. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, and the first species to go into the west end is Brachiosaurus. Okay, cool, cool. We got 2 herbivores so far. So far, so good. Alright, let's get Brachiosaurus going. I think there's they have 2 in their batch, so there'll be a male and a female. There we go. We'll hatch up the Brachiosaurs and we'll see how they get on. So we have 2 of them. So let's get a male and a female. Alright, so we got a male and a female. That should be good. And let's move on to creature number 3. And creature number 2 that's going in the east end is Concavinator. Alright, cool, cool. We got our first carnivore in the sanctuary. Alright, so let's get Concavinator going. Alright, that's the second species on the east end taken care of. Let's move on to creature number 4. And the second creature to go into the west end is Gallimimus. Okay, cool. So we've got Gallimimus coming in. Let's get Gallimimus. Alright, so Gallimimus. Alright, so far so good. We've got 6 in all. Let's see which males are the most vibrant. Maybe we'll have 2 males and 4 females. There we go. 2 males and 4 females. That's what we'll have. Alright. And let's move on to the next one. Creature number 5. And the final creature to be released on the east end is Dinokairos. Okay, cool. We got Dinokairos, so let's bring them here. So Dinokairos would be right over here. Alright, we'll probably release, I don't know, 2 males and 2 females. Either that or maybe 3 females and a male. Yeah, let's have 3 females and a male. I think they're in like 4. So that'll be the final species for the east end for this episode anyway. So far so good. Alright. Now that that's done, let's move on to the final creature of the episode. And the third and final creature to go into the west end is Diplodocus. Alright, cool. So, as a recap, our 6 species, we got Chasmosaurus, Brachiosaurus, Concavinator, Gallimimus, Dinokairos, and Diplodocus. Alright, so we're left with 77 specimens. And with that, the series lives to see another episode. Alright. So far, so good. There we go. So that's Diplodocus hatched up. And while we wait for that to hatch, let's move on to the east end. Let's clear a path on the forest bit for a second, just so we have like a... no, don't fast forward. I wanted to do this. Alright, so let's have like a clear pathway for these guys to hatch. Alright, so let's start with the Chasmosaurs.
Prepare asset for release.
So I think we got 2 males and 2 females. No, wait, sorry. I think it's 2 males and 3 females. My bad. Alright, so first things first. Let them expand their territory, and then we'll see what they want. And then we'll move on to the Concavinators after this. Alright, let's see what kind of... Alright, so obviously they're going to want water. Let me decrease that. They're expanding their territory. So they want some ground leaf, some cover. There we go. We got the water taken care of. And now let's get the nest going. And you know what? We'll hold off on the nests for the time being. Alright. Actually, let's do 1 for each. 1 for each side. Alright, let's move on over to the west side and release our 2 Brachiosaurs. Alright, those guys are going to take a while to release, so while we wait, you know, let's get a nest going while we wait. Alright, what kind of nest do you guys want? Medium. Alright, let's get a medium nest. Alright, let's expand their horizons. Alright, so here's what they want. They want some cover. I think they want a lot of cover. No, they didn't want too much more cover. There we go. We got cover taken care of. Let's get some tall nut going. Now, let's move on. You know, we'll save Dinokairos. Not Dinokairos. We'll save, Concavinator for last. Let's just release Dinokairos. We should have 4 of them. A male and 3 females, I believe. There we go. So that's Dinokairos. These guys are obviously going to want deep water, obviously. Alright, so they want wetland. So we're going to have to do some expansions a bit. While they expand their territory, we've got ground leaf taken care of. Obviously, they're going to want some wetland. We got a nest claimed by Chasmosaurus, which is awesome. And let's get some deep water. So then the Dinokairos can just swim. They have some swimming space. There we go. That should be them completely satisfied, apart from fish. Alright, so the Dinokairos can at least nest. Alright, and we got a nest claimed by Brachiosaurus. This nest here, which is awesome. Alright, let's move on to the Gallimimus. We got 2 males and 4 females. Alright, so that's Gallimimus released. Alright, so let's see what they want. They want... Alright, so looks like that's... Alright, they need a bit of cover. There we go, that should be the Brackies completely satisfied. What about you guys? Oh yeah, you're completely satisfied. And you guys require a medium nest, I'm guessing? Yeah, medium. Alright, let's get a medium nest. Yeah, these guys require more than one anyway, so let's just get some nests. Alright, and now let's move on to the final creature on the east end, the Concavinator. Our only carnivore so far. I think these guys require medium nests, just like the...
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to welcome our Concavinator to the park.
Maybe these guys will fight the Kentros. Or the Chasmos, I should say. We've got 5 offspring coming in. Our 2 Concavinators. What do they need? Alright, they're expanding their territory. They've got everything else. They just need... Maybe we'll give them a goat for the time being. We'll give them a goat for the time being. Alright, let me just go ahead and change the settings so then we can get this started. Alright, let's get started. You know what, I'm gonna start a timer. Let's have it be like 10 minutes for the time being. Just because I don't expect much to go on. Alright, so 10 minutes. Let's go. In 3, 2, 1. Alright. The 10-minute timer has started, and we're going to see what goes on. So far in this section, we've got Chasmosaurus, Concavinator, and Deinonychirus. And then... Oh! I almost forgot! Let's release the Diplodocus. My bad. Alright, we got the Brachiosaurs. They have 3 eggs incoming, which is awesome. So this is a peaceful area. All herbivores, it looks like. We got Gallimimus, Brachiosaurus, and Diplodocus. So this is the west end. More peaceful. The east end can be a bit peaceful. Depends on what the Concavinators do. So yeah, so far, so good. And then next episode, we could have a south end and a north end, and then we can focus on those segments. Alright, we got the 2 Concavinators duking it out, it looks like. That's not good. They're fighting amongst themselves. We've got Gallimimus, who just claimed a nest. We've got 5 hatchlings incoming. Alright, so let's check on the east end, see what's going on the east end. We got the Deinonychiruses. Looking good. Should we add another nest? Let's see if we can duplicate. Cohabitation issue. Now, that's gonna happen. They have issues with the Concavinators. Yep, that's gonna happen. That is gonna happen. So how much time do we have left? 6.5 minutes. Alright, let's see how the Diplodocus are getting on. Let's check on them. I'm sure they want something. Tall fruit. Alright. That's probably going to interfere with the Brackies, but we'll make it work. There we go. That should be good. What about here? Alright, the Diplodocus are fine. Gallimimus fine. Brackies fine. Alright. I guess now we just wait for creatures to start hatching and see what happens. Alright, we got a nest claimed by a Gallimimus. Okay, cool, cool. So far, so good. Oh, we got movement. Gallimimus incoming. And we got a Diplodocus that just claimed a nest. Nice. So this is Herbivore Haven, I might call this place. At least until a carnivore shows up. And then I might alternate between the 2 ends with each series. We might do north and south next episode, and then back to east or west the following episode. Alright, so it looks like we've got 4 more eggs in this nest. We already got the next generation of Gallimimus. Another 4 minutes before the simulation ends. Let's check on the east end, see what's going on. The nest is still unoccupied. Alright, we've got Chasmosaurus in there. Hold on. The Brackies have hatched. Look at that. We got 3 new Brachiosaurs. And the other nest has just been claimed by a Chasmosaur, which means their lineage is secure for the next generation.
To the park.
Alright, you guys wanted more ground leaf? Okay, cool. Let's get some more ground leaf. Okay, now they want more wetland. Concavinator just claimed a nest. Let's go. The Concavinator's just claimed this nest. Oh, we got some baby Chasmosaurs, which is awesome. We got movement in the nest. More Gallimimus. And that is time. So yeah, looking cool. We've got a bunch of Gallimimus here, some Brackies, some Gallies, a Diplos. And on this end, we've got Concavinator, which has 1 egg incoming. So they'll be able to move on to the next generation, hopefully. And then we've got Chasmosaurus living in here. Ooh. You should be scared, little guys. The Concavinators seem very dangerous. Alright. So far, so good. And with that, that is going to wrap it up for this episode. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. It would really help out a ton. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.